Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fired Up Life Show. Today we'll be talking about how to make time for the most important things in your life. We often find ourselves very busy, especially these days when we're transitioning back with all this face-to-face assemblies, face-to-face work, face-to-face, in my case, team building. Hey, we are getting busy. And each day it's getting busier and busier, right? So, unlike the pandemic times when we're just with our families, we're just at home, now we're like all out. I mean, getting out there, all right? So, how do we make time when we feel guilty about certain things that we really haven't done so far? Very important things that are supposed to be done a year ago or last week, things we procrastinate but are very important, um, things that involve our family, hindi natin inaasikaso. How do we make time for these things when we often are caught into situations where we're just so busy, right? So, kung may kakilala kang busy, tag that person. If you're a busy person, stay tuned. And of course, share this to your profile. Let me know who's here right now in our Fired Up Live show so we can all get fired up to make time for the most important things. All right, all right. So, the Fired Up Life Show is all about getting you motivated and focused in pursuing your dreams and living out your faith. That's our goal here, and it's about motivation for work and life. This show is made possible by our Fired Up patrons. Hey, you can be a patron too and support the Fired Up Life advocacy. Just go to patreon.com/fired up life. And of course, this Fired Up Life show is every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 o'clock p.m. So far, I've been trying 5 o'clock p.m. We'll see what happens. I'm still trying to find the right schedule. If you have a suggestion of a perfect time for the Fired Up Live show, just leave there in the comments section. All right. So, how do we make time? No, how to make time for the most important things in your life? Okay. So, we all have different lives. Iba-iba yung ating buhay. No, merong mga employees, there are those who are doing their businesses, there are those who are doing public service, there are those who are working for the church. Iba-iba, no? Iba-iba yung ating buhay, iba-iba yung ating schedule. And hey, kahit iba-iba yung ating pamumuhay, we often find ourselves very, very busy. We keep on saying yes to certain things, and we find ourselves having a collection of all these yeses that we can cope. No? We cannot cope with all our commitments. So, kailangan gawan ng oras, right? Kailangan ng gawan ng oras. Pero how do we do that? It seems like kapus parati sa oras. So, we want to look at this. Yeah. No time, no? No time for your dreams. May mga pangarap ka ba pero you set aside these dreams, and dreams are important. Na ito yung gusto mong mangyari sa buhay mo, ito yung gusto mong gawin sa buhay mo. And hey, urgent matters arise and you don't have time for these dreams. Kailangan gawin yung ibang bagay pa, right? And often these are less important things, okay? Or maybe they're urgent things, but you really know what you want to do with your life, okay? So you have dreams and you have no time for your dreams. That could be the case. Another is you have less time with your loved ones, no? Yung mga kapamilya mo. And because you're so busy with your business, and you're such a workaholic, and often it's the family that gets sacrificed when you are so busy. Okay, so you have to make time for your family. Another is you're too busy to take care of yourself. Hey, sino guilty dito? Taas ang kamay. Ayan, paramdam kayo dyan sa ating comment section if you're busy, too busy to take care of yourself. What I mean is halos di na makakapagpagupit, di na makapag-parlor, di na makapag for the women, many men, what you call that, mani pedi, manicure and pedicure. For the guys, no more time to go to the gym, and you're just doing all this work, right? And you're such a workaholic, and maybe some time to serve others. Yung importante yung service to others kasi that brings meaning to your lives, to our lives, and also it of course helps other people, no? Nakakatuwang makita pag nakagawa tayo ng isang bagay or nakakataba ng puso or we feel a sense of purpose and calling when we're able to reach out to others and be able to help them, right? And it's can be in a form of service for your community. It can be a form of service for your religious group. Okay, so may time ka pa ba mag-serve? And a lot of people who get too busy to do this type of activities because yun nga, may ibang bagay na kinabibisihan, no more time to do some outreach and to be a man and woman for others. Okay, so I don't know which part of these bullet points that I'm showing you here, uh, which of them is you. Okay, kung sino ba tayo dito, no? So if you feel like you can relate to any of these bullets here, no time for your dreams, less time with your loved ones, too busy to take care of yourself, and no time to serve others, hey, let's try to make time. Sabi nga dito, time has a wonderful way of showing us what really matters. We always say these things are important, but we don't give time for these things, no? And the truth is, kung ano ang oras na binibigay mo ngayon, yun yung importante sa iyo ngayon. Okay? These are the things that are more important to you right now. And you keep saying, hey, that's important to me too. But how come there's no time for those things? So I agree with this. No, it's like an indicator of your values. Kung saan mo nilalagay yung oras mo, doon yun actually yung values mo. No, and if you feel like it's really not the right way to put our time, what we're currently having right now, no, baka masyadong maraming oras sa entertainment. Okay, that's important too. No, you get entertainment, so you can have a diversion. But just too much time on these things, baka naman we need to already adjust. Okay, kaya time really has a wonderful way of showing us what really matters, and we can tweak some parts of our lives to be able to make more time. Kasi 'di ba, we just have a lifetime. No? Isa lang yung buhay natin. Isa lang yung panahon natin dito sa mundo. And how are we gonna spend that? That's very important to consider. Okay, so we go into these things called values. What are your values? Ano ba ang importante para sa iyong buhay? What can you consider are the most important things? Say if you're watching this on replay or live, just type there in the comment section what are the most important things in your life. Okay? In other words, what do you value? Ano bang mga mahalaga para sa iyo? Kasi syempre value, no? Valuable. Often, okay, values are like faith, integrity, all these qualities, right? But values can also be like ano ang mahalaga sa'yo? Like pamilya, like what Marie is saying here, family. Thanks for your comment, Marie. And what else are important to you? Okay? Service can be important to you. Or perhaps helping people through your business. If your business is helping society, then it's important for you, right? And maybe your parents, they're important to you, of course. And what time are we giving them? What time are we really giving them? Okay, so um, years ago we made a very big decision to homeschool our kids so we can spend more time with them and be more close with them, and so that when they grow up, they inherit certain values, they inherit things that we want to teach them. Okay, so we made a very important decision years ago, and yeah, we value that. We value our time with our kids. We try to adjust our own life. We try to design our life that matches our values. Okay, so I think that's very important. So ano ang mga mahalaga sa'yo? Maybe faith. No, faith is an important part of your life. Are you giving time for your faith? Are you giving time to serve and spread the gospel for other people? Okay, so what are your values? Okay, what do you value? So we want to design our lives to match our values. Kasi nga mahalaga. Kasi we don't wanna like spend the like decades and decades of our lives thinking, how did I spend my life? Nasayang ba ang buhay ko? Okay. If you are in the later years of your life and you are thinking, sinayang ko ba ang buhay ko? But if you look back and you can say that you stuck with your values, you stuck with the things that are important to you, you made decisions that would give you more time, 'di ba? I see a lot of movies where people are given a tanning, no? They're given a deadline for their lives, and these movies usually yung tipong you just have 1 week to live. You just have 1 week to live. Ayan. I think it was a Robin Williams movie. And the things that he did were really all about family. He tried to make amends with the time that he's given. He apologized to certain people that could, whose forgiveness could bring him peace and could bring the other person peace. So yun yung ginawa niya, no? He made use of his time to spend it with his loved ones and to make amends, no? And I think that's important na magawa natin kahit hindi pa during those last days of our lives. We want to do the things while we can do it and have the energy and resources to do it. Okay? So we sometimes we look at the lives of others and we spend our life just wishing we live their lives. Okay? Iniisip natin, how can we live the life of that certain person that we know? Ang ganda naman ng buhay niya. No? So, what I would recommend is focus on your life. You have your own talents, you have your own opportunities, you have your own training. Build that life and make time to build the life that you want according to your values. Iba-iba kasi ang ating mga values. Yes, in general, we can say, okay, we value family. Okay. But how are you molding your family? In what way are you molding your family? Doon din nagkakaiba-iba ang values, di ba? So some would value for their kids to become more sports minded. Some would value for their kids to become more God centered. Some would really lean towards being more intellectual. Some would lead of their kids to become like musically inclined and talented. Yung iba gusto lahat dapat be all, no. All in one yung isang bata, no. Different values, and these values are molded by how we were also raised, and perhaps the things that we wanted to do but we couldn't do. Okay. So what are your values, um and try to design that, no. And how do we design that life? By making time for these things. Okay, so it says here by Michael Altschuler, the bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. Okay? So, binigyan tayo ng Diyos ng kalayaan para gamitin yung ating oras ayon sa kagustuhan natin under His guidance, di ba? So, may mga guide si Lord on how to live a life that is full. No? There's the Beatitudes, the Gospels are there. And we have this. That's why it's good to read the Bible every day. Okay, so we can maximize our time here on earth, living the life the way we should live our lives. Okay, so ikaw yung pilot. Okay, mabilis lang yung oras pero ikaw yung piloto. And that gives us a lot of consolation. Kasi feeling natin ang bilis ng oras, ang bilis ng panahon, just like my kids, no? About like 2 years ago, hanggang dito lang yung height nila. Then 2 years later, after the pandemic, or still in the we're still in the pandemic. 2 years later, mas matangkad na sa akin. At anong sinasabi natin? ang bilis ng panahon, okay? So, how did you spend that time na mabilis? So, ikaw yung piloto. So, you have control. You can decide where to go and where to land, when to fly. Okay? So, that's consolation. So, I'm gonna share with you, friends, mga ka-fired up, 5 ways to make time for the most important things. So, please type there in our comment section kahit replay, type there fired up to make time. Ayan. Fired up to make time. Let's go, let's go. Ayan. So let me just type that. Fired up to make time. So where's that? Okay, there. Sino dyan ang fired up na? Who is fired up out there? Yan. So if you type this fired up to make time, we're gonna go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. All right. So hey, thanks, Marie. Fired up to make time. That's awesome. Keep your comments coming, guys. And I just want you all to get fired up. Want you all to um, get inspired today and find solutions to the very busy days that we have in our lives. Ayan, si Salina, nakaka-fire up. Fired up to make time. Yes, yes. And si GM is also fired up to make time. Thank you so much, GM, Salina, and Marie. Okay. Since you're fired up, I'm also fired up. Let's get fired up together. So, number one, guys, to make time, you have to defend your time. Okay? Kasi we actually are putting things on schedule. We're trying to plot our schedules. Pero minsan hindi na susunod yung schedule na pinaplot natin. Kasi we always sacrifice these times for other things, less important things. Or yung may biglaan na kailangan sa'yo, no? At nahihiya kang magsabi na hindi ka pwede, no? So, the key term here is defend. No? Guard your time, defend your time, no? Especially your time of prayer, time with family, and time with yourself. Okay. So ito yung usually nasa sakripisyo eh. Yung time of prayer, for example, okay, let's just say you set your prayer time at 6:30 to 7:30 or 6:30 to 7. Anong nangyayari? 'Di ba? Inaantok ka or pagod ka or nagmamadali ka because you're trying to catch something. So hindi mo na de-defend 'yun, no, na-sacrifice 'yun. And you just say, "Hey, I'll just do that later on." Okay lang naman, no? But what time did you commit for your prayer and have you defended that time? That's very important. Okay. So, of course, time with your family, it's, society has set it, no? Weekends is for family, especially Sundays is for family. How did you spend your Sunday? Were you able to defend the Sunday for your family, or are you still being bugged in your mind to still keep on working and doing this stuff na dapat ginagawa on the weekday? No? Are we able to defend our family time? And next is time with yourself. Ito ang pinaka talagang kawawa. Either you have so much of this, so that's indulgence already. Like it's too much time for yourself is more of laziness and self-indulgence. But more often than not, we do not take care of ourselves. We do not have time to just relax or probably watch a movie, probably play basketball. Kasi, 'di ba? Kasi when work is always churning, work is always going on, especially when you're passionate about something. Parating umaandar sa utak natin 'yan. Parang we don't know how to turn it off. And if we can't turn it off, then you'll always be thinking about it. Then what you think about is what you do. 'di ba? Kasi naiisip mo, so ginagawa mo. Now, you can't have time with yourself if that's the thing. So, when do we have time for self-care? When do we have time to really just enjoy ourselves, right? Okay, so defend your time. Block it and make sure that you're able to really stick with it. And when someone else is gonna take that time away from you, just simply say, I can't be available for personal reasons. Okay, so people will respect that. So defend your time. Okay. So make sure you do that. And if you agree with me, just type there defend. Okay, defend. Just type there in our chat box defend if you agree with this number one. Okay. All right. So we go now to number two, guys. Oh, wait. Before we go to number two, I'd like to read this quote from Brian Tracy. There is never enough time to do everything, but there is always enough time to do the most important thing. 'Di ba? Parang walang panahon sa lahat. Siyempre, hindi eh. Di kaya gawin lahat eh. Pero kung importante yan, magkakaoras yan. Okay, so defend the time. So may mga nagde-defend na dito. Si GM defend. Yes, yes. Awesome. All right. So there's never enough time to do everything, but there's always enough time to do the most important thing. That's really good. That's a good reminder. Number two is to just say no and tell them the real reason. Okay, so this is connected to defending your time. But why am I highlighting this as one of the points? Because we just cannot say no. We just don't know how to say no. And maybe it's the fear of missing out. Maybe it's the fear of disappointing other people. Maybe nahihiya ka. It's just so awkward to say no. Maybe you owe that person somebody. Well, you owe that person something. So you can't say no to that person. But you know that it will really take time away from the things that you value. Okay. So just say no. You have the freedom naman. Wala namang pumipilit sa'yo unless nasampi na ka. Okay? Wala namang pumipilit sa atin. Pwede namang mag-no talaga. And remember that saying no is saying yes to the more important things. Every time you say yes, you're saying no to something. Always remember that. So, pag-isipan mo rin, no? Discern, pray. Do I say no to this? And you know what? If in good conscience you said no and it's giving more time for your family, it's giving more time for your rest, then hey, good job. Thumbs up to you. Okay. Tell them the reason. Kasi mahalaga sa'yo. No? Kasi values mo yan eh. Okay, that's number two, guys. So, maybe just as a response, okay, wag na lang, baka sabihin ko sana type no on the comments. But hey, say no so you can say yes. Yes to your values. Yes to the important things. Ayan na lang. Yes to the important things. Type mo dyan sa comments, yes to important things. All right, so that's number two, guys. So far, we're 2 out of 5. The first one was just about defending your time. Second is saying no. The third is schedule it. Schedule it. What gets scheduled gets done. And just in the same way that you're scheduling your work, your meetings, all these things, 'di ba naka-schedule sa phone mo? Same way, you can schedule your joy. I saw this reel. No, I saw this Instagram reel, and actually I did a remix for it. Sabi dun sa reel na yon, schedule your joy. 'Di ba? Schedule that 1 hour or 30 minutes to for your happiness. Life isn't perfect, and sometimes we don't feel like we deserve to be happy. Minsan, no? Deserve ko bang maging happy? Yes, you are a human being. You deserve to be happy. Just because you might not have done like a lot of good things, but you are doing your best. You are striving. You are giving your all. And hey, you deserve to be happy. So schedule your joy. So you can go for a milk tea, okay? You can go for a basketball game. Ayan. So kailan mo gagawin 'yan, no? I have a friend who so busy pero usapan nila mag-asawa. This is a guy, no, na every Tuesday ng gabi, it's really his basketball time. Grabe. No, so di ko siya magalaw ng Tuesdays din. Di ko siya makausap ng Tuesdays kasi yun yung oras ng pag-basketball niya. At yung pagba-basketball niya recharges him, makes him feel strong, and sobrang saya siya doing that, no? So naka-plot na, no? And it's keeping him fit, and of course keeping him joyful and happy. And what is the effect? You're happy, then that's also what you will bring to work. That's what you also bring to your family. Okay? So schedule yung mga mahalagang bagay. Like for me, mahalaga sa akin, no? In CFC or in Couples for Christ, we call it household meetings. And naka-schedule na yan. Naka-plot na yan sa buong buwan. Every month, there's always a schedule. And that's important for me because that's where I get my life inspiration. That's where I get my nourishment to be able to sustain myself as a Catholic, 'di ba? So naka-schedule na lahat 'yan, naka-block na lahat 'yan. And when that scheduled, 'yan, it's already set. Hindi na siya ididebate kung gagawin mo o hindi. It's already systematic. Okay. So schedule it. To make time, schedule it. And once it's there on your schedule, sacred na 'yan. Hindi na magagalaw 'yan. All right? All right? So, ayan. Hey, thank you, sweet. Yes to important things. Salina, yes to important things. And hey, Glenna, thank you so much for your. I don't see it, but hey, thank you so much for that. Okay, so there, schedule it. Number four. Number four is address the important things before they become urgent things. Now, I learned this early on from Stephen Covey in his 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Sabi niya, usually daw, yung mga urgent lang ang inaatupag natin. And of course, urgent siya, kailangan mong i-address. Okay? And because you're just putting all your time in doing urgent things, you don't anymore do the important things, no? So it's called urgent versus important. So kunwari importante that you visit your parents. Now if they're already old, it's important, but you keep on doing other things because they're urgent. Now, magiging urgent then later if you keep on postponing that kasi baka magkasakit, no? Hindi mo na kamusta. No, things become an emergency, things become a crisis if you don't do those important things. Kunwari sa trabaho, safety measures, okay, they're important. Okay. But if you don't do these important things because you've just so many urgent things, later on, magiging urgent thing yan kasi magkakaroon ng emergency and the safety measures were put there. Okay, so we want to address these things. Importante, family. If you don't address family right now, later magiging crisis yan. Magkakaroon ng problema ang mga anak natin if we don't give time for them. Prayer time. Okay, you always sacrifice your prayer time and because of so many urgent things. But if you don't take care of that prayer time, there will be a crisis later on because our life will be in disorder, disarray, because prayer brings order, prayer brings motivation, right? So, address the important things kasi later magiging crisis yan. So, make time for that. And in fact, if you keep on addressing important things, the urgent things will be less and less. 'Di ba? Kunwari, sa school, naalala natin, binigay sa atin deadline ng project, 3 months to go pa. Okay, importanteng gawin 'yun pero hindi naman urgent, 3 months pa. So if we keep on delaying that later, 1 week to go na lang, 'di man natin nagagalaw. So naging crisis na siya, naging urgent na siya. Okay, so don't forget about this. List down the important things in your life and act on them. Act on them. Kasi later on magiging magkakasunog, no? Magkakaroon ng fire, and we don't want to live our lives just firefighting. Okay? Firefighting. Not in the literal sense, of course, but um parang don't you sometimes feel like you're just putting out fires? Okay, so ayan, that's because we didn't make time for the important things. So address them. Ayan. So may comment dito. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Nasa harapan ko lagi ang notes as my reminder sa working space ko nung nabasa ko yung 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Thank you so much, Ameline. I agree with this, right? Schedule your priorities. Ayan. So, ang big question is, do we know our priorities, di ba? And there are different types of priorities. Siyempre, faith. No? Do we schedule time for our faith? Is it important enough for us? Okay, so take care of these things, then you will have less crisis to manage later on. You will have less urgent things to manage later on. Yes, writing is power. Thank you so much, Sweet. Because you write it down, then you are already accomplishing it. And 'di ba, pag sinulat mo yung mga kunwari things to do rather than just putting it in your head, 'di ba? When you tick that off, meron niyang ano meron niyang sense of accomplishment also, 'di ba? So, yes, there's power in that. Thank you so much. Oh, may correction, writing down is power. Okay. Hey, thanks for this, Ameline. Okay. That's number 4, guys. Next is okay, this one. Procrastination is the thief of time. Mga ano tayo may master's degree in procrastination tayo. Halos lahat tayo. Di ba? We're all guilty of this. Especially when we were in college. Okay, puro last minute. Ayan. Pero totoo lang, no? It's really the thief of time because you could have done so much if you did it early. You could have really made it better if you did it early. And you would have had less stress if you did it early. Meaning, procrastination kasi weighs heavy on the mind. So, you're dragging on that worry for very long time. So, ninanakawan ka ng joy, ninanakawan ka ng oras ng maging masaya. So, remember this. Okay, next is strive to be efficient. Yun lang. Yun yung aking last na recommendation, to make time. When you say efficient, it's about doing things right. So effectiveness naman is doing the right things. But let's just be simple in terms of this approach. Efficiency. How are how is your system? How is your desk looking like? Ano ba ang may sistema ka ba? Or paulit-ulit na lang, no? Paulit-ulit na lang yung setup mo. For example, when I do my show, sometimes I find myself so inefficient because I have to set up the lights again, then I have to set up the cables and all these things, right? So the way to be efficient is to make it a permanent fixture para pag show ko isang pindot lang, then I was able to save a lot of time, right? So yeah, no, how do we become efficient in terms of our systems? Kasi um, there are a lot of productivity tools there. For example, Notion. No, I recommend Notion. It's free. Download it. Notion. This is not a paid ad. Okay. But it really helped me become more efficient in monitoring my business, in trying to compute the the ins and outs of the cash flow of our home. And ang isang lugar lang pinupuntahan ko, that productivity app. So, naging efficient siya. So, what are the ways that you can be more efficient? Kasi efficiency saves you a lot of time. So hindi naman pwedeng maging efficient ka overnight. So over time, you're able to create things that make it better and better. So ang dami mong ma-save. Tingnan mo lang sa bahay, 'di ba? Ano ba ang mga sistema sa bahay nyo na paubos oras? Yung parati mong hinahanap ang remote control ng TV, tapos parati mong hinahanap yung scotch tape or yung hinahanap parati yung susi ng sasakyan. No, nakakaubos ng oras. Saan nilagay yung tsinelas? Okay. How do you make these little things efficient? Yung parati kang naka-pile up ang mga damit sa aparador, and parang hirap maghanap ng polo shirt, ng t-shirt. These little things, they take time away from you. So efficiency, making a system out of it, will help you save a lot of time so that you can make more time for the important things. Ganon din sa negosyo. No, when you are able to afford to hire a third party provider, so that third party provider can focus on the things that can be delegated, so you can do the things that are in your zone of genius. Okay? Yun yung efficiency, kung saan ka magaling. Okay? So, if you're able to delegate work, and in the equation, it gives you more income because you're able to do things faster and better, then that is efficiency. Okay? So, ganun din, no? Sa bahay, sa trabaho, sa sarili mong buhay, iisipin mo pa ba kung magja-jogging ka, kung magba-biking ka? Wala na, nakalagay na yan, MWF. Kahit feel mo o hindi, gagawin mo kasi it's part of your efficiency system. Okay, so that's how we make time. Saving 3 seconds here, saving 2 minutes here, saving 5 minutes here, saving 10 minutes there. Be excited to create systems for efficiency. Ayan, that's my fifth one. Okay. All right. So, just to recap, here are the 5 ways to make time for the most important things. Number 1, ano yon? Defend your time. Say it with me, even if I can't hear you. Second is, just say no. Third is, schedule it. Fourth, address the important things before they become urgent things. Fifth, strive to be efficient. Now, I'd really appreciate it if you'd write down in the comments which of the 5 did you like best. Which of the 5 were you inspired to do? And alin dito sa 5 ang nakakatulong sa'yo ngayon? Yung sobrang nakatulong sa'yo, na feeling mo, wow, what a blessing. Narinig ko yun. Gagawin ko yun. Ayan, just type there either the number or the word, and I'd really appreciate that. All right? Thumbs up. Okay. So, there. Hey, support the Fired Up Life show, the whole advocacy, be a patron. Go to patreon.com/fireduplife. You can send stars there sa baba. You may star button. Be a supporter. Meron ding green button somewhere. Be a Facebook supporter, and you can support to, you can send Gcash also if you like it. So that's the number there. All right. So, hey, be a patron. Go to patreon.com/fireduplife. And these are so far our patrons. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Salamat sa mga suporta through the months. Hey, send stars. And you can also go to fireduplifestore.com to buy my book, 365 Fired Up Days. Araw-araw po kayong ma-fire up. Okay. So you open day 1, ayun, no, fired up ka na. Day 2, especially on days na walang fired up live show. Okay, so if you need 2-minute motivation per day, 2 minutes lang to read one, then you get fired up. That's gonna bless your business, your family, and make you happier. Let's all get fired up. So I also offer team building, leadership training, custom values formation, and retreats and recollection talks. Shout out to West C, CFC West C. We just had a team building nung Sabado. We're all fired up. Okay. So keep it coming. Shout out to all my past clients and future clients. So let me know if you're interested in a team building, because lalo na face-to-face is already allowed. All right. So if you also want to get a hold of all my courses, grabe, no? If you become part of Fired Up You, you'll be part of, you can get my speakers course sa mga gusto mag-improve in public speaking, sa gustong matuto ng book writing, vlogging, understand what content creation is all about. Motivational courses are also there. Dito ko na dinadump, dito ko na binibuild ang aking kaalaman, no? In the future, we'll be putting catechism programs there. So go to firedupu.com, check it out, be part of that community. Okay. So, there you go. How to make time. Sino pa ang nandito? Yan. Sabi ni Ameline, schedule it ang nakatulong sa kanya. Thank you so much. For Jeanette, yan, strive to be efficient. Ang nakatulong. Thank you so much, Jeanette. Si Marie or Marie, just say no. No lang para yes sa mga mas importanteng bagay. And si Janet din is strive to be efficient. Hey, thank you so much. I enjoyed our time together. Just keep your comments coming there. Kung may na-realize ka, and if you have questions, just send me a DM, send me a message, direct message. So that's it, folks. I am so happy. Now I was able to make time for this show. Okay, so thank you. God bless you. And of course, make time to get fired up.